So welcome again, everybody, to today's program. Just wanted to, before we get started, quick sort of thank you to our sponsors. This is, the list of all of our sponsoring schools for this, full series. This is today's program, and then this is some of our upcoming programs in the school series. We'll post in a minute a link to learn more about some of the upcoming programs. And then, this is next month's program as well, sort of on writing and social work, resume writing, writing a grad school essay. So definitely a great sort of follow-up to this, or for folks who are potentially maybe looking to graduate soon, useful information for either of those. So we're going to have about, today we're going to have about 40 minutes as the sort of panel here. I'll pass off to our panelists and our panel facilities in just a minute. At around 6:40, 6:45, we're going to move into grad school sort of fair, where we will have breakout rooms where folks will be able to interact and engage with graduate schools and graduate school representatives. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Jacob. See if I had missed anything, and then Stephanie.
Hello, everybody. I am Jacob Schaff. I am an intern at NASW New York State chapter this semester, and welcome to our November event. We're really excited to have you all here. I think, Nell, you pretty much got it all with our student panel. We're so grateful to have our 4 panelists with us today. And then, I hope it's going to be a great event today. And I will pass it off to Stephanie to start our panel. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A little bit about myself. I'm an advanced standing MSW student at Fordham University. I attend the Westchester campus. I also did my undergrad. I was part of the Malloy Fordham program for my undergrad. So I'm happy to see some familiar faces, and I'm happy that you guys are with us today. Before I get into the questions for the 4 panelists, Fatima, I'm sorry, Fantamata, I'm sorry, I totally butchered your name. I do apologize. Julian, and then Lindsay and Ming, why don't you guys just take a minute to introduce yourselves before we get into the questions? Okay. Whoever wants to start, that would be great.
I can start.
Perfect, thank you.
My name is Julian Ventura, pronouns she, they. I graduated from Siena College with a social work degree for my bachelor's, and now I'm advanced standing here at the University of Albany with also focusing on social work. I am from New Paltz, New York, and I chose a macro concentration to focus more on policy change and just like evaluating programs like that.
Great, thank you.
And I'll go next. My name is Fatoumata Kamara. I'm a mother of 3 and a social worker at the subacute rehabilitation center. I am a recent macro social work graduate from Stony Brook University. And I chose Stony Brook because I had a great undergrad experience there, but also because the program offers a mix of in-person and online learning. And that was very important to me because I was working full-time and I needed a program that offers the online component. And the school also offers a great tuition plan. And because my job offers tuition reimbursement, which made it very affordable for me. That's why I chose the program.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can go next. Hi everyone, my name is Ming. I use he, him pronouns. I am a recent graduate from Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs. I finished my Bachelor of Science in Social Work from Skidmore, and I also had a minor in International Affairs, which is another passion of me within the global sphere. And right now I am an advanced standing MSW student at Columbia University in New York City. And my specialization or concentration is on leadership management and entrepreneurship. So kind of more like the macro practice in social work with organizations management. And what drew me to this specialization is I had a generous experience with social work, specifically with clinical work in my undergrad. So going to MSW program in graduate school, I kind of want to experience a different type of social work, which is really nice that the school offers a variety of options.
That's great.
And I'll popcorn to Lindsay.
Thank you. Lindsay, I think, oh, there you go. I thought you were frozen. Sorry.
That's okay, I was. It keeps freezing my screen, so I was like, of course, right before I might go. So a little bit about myself right now. I just graduated from Keuka College, which if you're not from like the Finger Lakes kind of region, it's a really small school in Keuka Park, New York. So I got my bachelor's degree there. I was a former intern at NASW, so I had a really great time kind of getting into more of that macro, what that looks like in social work. As of right now, I work for University of Rochester. So I actually just started that job this week, and I'm doing a little bit more like micro work there. So I'm doing intake and assessment, and different like referral services to different services in Monroe County. So for my degree for my master's, I will be starting hopefully either this spring or next fall, or I'm sorry, next spring at UB for program there. Something that I really loved about their program is that you could pick a lot of your electives and a lot of the different classes that you can take to be really well.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. So most of you, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. So you answered part of one, but for those of you that didn't, can you tell us why you chose the schools that you did or that you're attending now?
Yeah, I can go. So I go to the University of Albany, and I specifically chose this school because I was already in the area of Albany and it was more of a smoother transition, but also financial circumstances did play a large role in my academics. I was enrolled in HEOP in undergrad, Higher Education Opportunity Program, for students who are underserved academically and financially. And with that being said, I wanted to transition into a EOP or a school that had more funding opportunities. So I was able to gain some scholarships and also enroll myself into GOP here at the University of Albany, which also provides semester assistance for underserved and those who are struggling economically. Yeah. I think that's
Great.
pretty.
Thank you so much. Anybody else want to share why they chose the school that they did? Okay, so on to number 2. A lot of social work students, specifically MSW students, come from a variety of backgrounds and hold a variety of motivations, right, on why we want to continue into the field of social work and continue on with our education at the master's level and beyond. So can you tell us in your specific cases why you did decide to continue with your MSWs?
Fatimata, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, of course. So I worked with vulnerable populations most of my adult life, ever since I first started working. And like in doing the work, especially when COVID-19 first happened, like there was a lot that I couldn't do for them. And then I realized that there's a way that I could do more for them. And that is the main reason why I chose to do the MSW degree, so that I can be able to do more for them and advocate for policies that can make the life of vulnerable populations better, marginalized population, like all the population that social workers serve.
Yeah, and I think somebody had a question for you as well that might sort of connect to that. Is, you know, because you do have an MPH and an MSW and you're more of a macro sort of social worker,
Yes.
you know, sort of what was some of your decision in some of that?
So my husband and I started a not-for-profit agency to help kids, children who are, I'm originally from West Africa, so we help our children, vulnerable populations over there, but mostly children, by like providing, helping providing education materials as well as financial, just to kind of help them out. And because I have an inclination in helping to make public health also better, and I found when I was doing my research for graduate program, I found that public health and social work were kind of like connected. And I figured it would be best if I did a public health and social work program together. And then it's going to give me access to a lot more of opportunities and then be able to do more on a macro level and micro level together.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Of
wonderful.
course. Yeah.
And then Ming, did you share with us earlier why you chose Columbia?
Yeah, I can go. So I guess as first sight, that like people will be like wow by the name itself, Columbia. But when I was looking at graduate school, I specifically looking to, because I was also thinking about the financial aspect. I searched schools that would offer like more financial aid packages to students who has a need and who are also FAFSA eligible. And I know that like from my research and talking with folks that I know that Columbia offers almost 90% of financial aid to students who are eligible for FAFSA, and it actually does. And another reason that I applied to Columbia was because the school itself is huge for its research and policy work. So it has a lot of access and resources, especially professors who are conducting research in different topic area that would promote and advocate for marginalized communities and populations in different scales. And that's another reason that I applied. Although my specific concentration is not related to policy or research, but I still find myself learning a lot of, I still find myself having conversations with my classmates, with my peers, and also meeting professors who are in different discipline area that's linked to the work that all social workers are doing, no matter on what micro, meso, or macro practice they are.
And then, thank you, Ming. I appreciate that. And why, can you share with us a little bit about why you decided to continue for your current, like, will continue with your MSW?
Yeah. So to be frankly, that after I get my BSW, I was a little unsure about how like applying to jobs and starting like a career in social work will look like with my bachelor degree. And when I was looking at jobs, I found that a lot of the jobs in social services and human services, but also in like nonprofit sectors, almost 90% of them require an MSW degree. And because I have my bachelor in social work, I think applying to advanced standing program, which for folks who earn their BSW, they can finish their MSW program in just 1 year, which is really time and efficient and also saves money. So that drew me to continue to pursue an MSW.
Julian and
thank
Lindsay, you both have a BSW as well. And I know, Julian, you had a little bit of, you weren't sure about going on to the MSW. Was your sort of decision making similar to Ming, or?
Definitely. I would say I was also very unsure of what I wanted to do, of either just like, full-time employment or continuing my education. So I took some time to do some research and ended up wanting to go to school a bit more because, you could potentially get a little bit more employment opportunities and just overall just gain new knowledge and learn a lot more. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Lindsay, I see you shaking your head a lot to what Ming was saying and to what Julian was saying. So are you on like the same page, or do you want to share why you continued with your MSW?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Ming said, 90% of jobs in the social work field, you need to have a degree. Not only do you not a degree, but the master's level degree. Not only do you need that, but you also need some experience. So my experience in applying for a lot of positions, because I just kind of put myself out there and I was like, I want to apply for what shows up and I'm going to put everything I have on the table. And if they want to move on with the interview, I will. Unless of course I deliberately said, like you need your LMSW. But I definitely saw that as like a consistent thing that almost feels like the entry level for a lot of social work is having that master's degree. As well as, like Julian said, like having more knowledge is really helpful as well. I think a lot of the experience I had and students that I was with that I still like communicate with, the bachelor's degree feels very generalized when it comes to social work. So the master's degree feels like a really good opportunity to get more of a narrow down to the scope of what we're really interested in. And then personally for me, so at U of R, where I'm working now, all of the programs and all of the different positions I would be interested in the future absolutely require a master's degree. They do a lot to help people get that, but it is required for pretty much every social work position besides the one that I'm in. So I don't want to limit myself in terms of knowledge, in terms of money, like everyone else said too, but also in terms of just opportunities. Sorry, my cat.
We love animals that visit us. Well, thank you for sharing that. And yes, absolutely. I do agree with you guys on the job front about continuing with your MSW. So that's a perfect segue into our next question. So as you guys have said, most of you are working and pursuing your MSW, as many other students are. And a lot of us struggle with the working and the balance of life in itself. So what advice would you all give to someone looking to balance graduate school and employment?
I would say time management and organizational skills are a must. If you don't have it, you're not going to be able to do it, because work requires your time, and the workload at school also requires your time. So get a calendar, write down due dates, request the syllabus from your instructors like way before the semester starts. If you have their email address, get started on the reading assignments, because once you're in the middle of a semester, it's very hard to catch up. And you just want to make sure that you're ready. And if you're working full-time, plan your vacation days around the times that you have your midterm papers due, because that's going to relieve a lot of the stress off of you.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to add to that?
Yeah, for me personally, right now I'm working at a runaway homeless shelter at St. Anne's on the weekends. And I had the choice of doing like full-time, part-time, or per diem. I decided to go with per diem because I knew the advanced standing program was going to ask a lot of me. So like my time, my commitment, and I really wanted to, of course, focus on my education and also, make that money. But so I decided to do work hours on weekends and then focus on my studies on the weekdays, and just trying to find that balance. But also because I am per diem, I have the privilege of taking some time off to work on my assignments or following along with the schedule of working. So it's really just also like understanding how you're feeling. If you need that time of self-care, definitely take it. Or if, you're able to balance both at the same time, keep pushing through.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Ming or Lindsay, do you guys have anything to add?
I think what folks just share are great suggestions. And in addition to that, I will also say use all the available resources you have. Like, for example, if certain instructors or professors are, I would say generally in my program, social professors are very friendly and kind towards to accommodate students' need. But also, if the syllabus says that you can take up to 3 days off during the semester, take it, even if you feel like you don't need it, but you may never know because you have to balance so many commitments at the same time. So just use whatever resources and opportunities to take care of yourself, and that's what matters.
Great advice. Thank you. Lindsay, you were going to add something?
Yep. So I think that's all such great advice. And I think that all of us and so many people in the field have experience, working and going to school at the same time. Something that I would say that's been helpful for me the past couple of years, and then of course in this new position, is being honest about like a succession plan with where you're working. Talking to your supervisor about, having a conversation. How can your job help you before, during, and after you get your MSW? How can they help you get and maintain your licensure? Do they offer work-based internship? And then openly communicating and maintaining good working relationships with not only your supervisor at work, but also with your field instructor for like where you're going to school. And then the last thing that I'd written down was utilizing studentaid.gov, and it gives you like payment plan details to help manage your expectations for after school. So that's also something that you can that I considered before even signing up for school. Okay, like what's the payment going to look like? If my work's going to help me, how much is it going to be? Just all of those different factors I think help set the expectation so that it's just all out there.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that advice and that website too. We can put that in the chat for everybody for anybody that missed it. So thank you for that. So thank you for all that great advice. And self-care is very, very important in taking care of ourselves, right? Because we're trying to balance so much all at once. So on to the next one. How has your workload changed from your undergrad to now your graduate work?
I would say Siena College did prepare me specifically for like the assignments from Siena College are very similar to what I'm kind of doing right now, but like how we discussed earlier, I feel like the grad assignments are more specific towards micro or macro, and you get to just like have that understanding and just be more specific with the attentions of macro or micro. While like in undergrad, it's more of just like general ideas. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
How about Ming or Lindsay? Ming,
I can go next. To me, my workload has changed a lot from my undergrad experiences to graduate school at Columbia because of my specialization in leadership management and entrepreneurship, which is I'll kind of answer to the also related to my change of expectation about this concentration or practice, because I found myself a lot of the learning process happened not just within the classroom from instructor or professors, but from my peers. because every single of my class requires group project and group work,
Mm.
and that's built throughout the semester. And it's really important for folks who are thinking about applying to MSW, and depending on the type of practice, that you're really looking to the specific skills that each class requires you, I guess. But also, I also find it challenging, but it's also a new opportunity to gain new insights from like working, collaborate with people from different backgrounds.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with what Ming said. It was also significantly more different for me in a way that it was more challenging because I was enrolled in 2 graduate programs. The contents were like completely different. They required different things. But at the same time, it prepared me like for working like with other people, learning to work within a team, but as well as doing independent research and working with community members. It was a lot more work, and it required a lot more work on my part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, did you want to share?
I appreciate this question a lot. I'm not starting until the spring, so I don't have anything to share about that, but it's good to hear from everyone else just to kind of prepare me anyway.
Great, thank you. Absolutely. So how has your MSW made you feel more prepared for working in the field? And then have you gotten any opportunities resulting from pursuing your MSW?
So for me,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. For me personally, I would say both the MSW program, but also my field placements played a huge role in like teaching me the skills that I needed, because the field placement kind of helped me to connect the dots from what I was learning in class and applying it in the field. But having a very good relationship with your professors, but as well as your field instructor and everyone else working there is very important, because 2 of the first opportunities that I had were recommendations from my professor at school, but also from my field instructor. So it's definitely good to leave a very good impression, do your work, do whatever you're required to do, go above and beyond, because you never know what opportunities may lay ahead.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Julian, did you want to share?
Yeah, I would say definitely the internship experience. I've been at my internship right now at Youth Research Inc. We work very closely with OCFS, Office of Family and Children Services, where we evaluate programs, social welfare programs for family children, like foster care, child welfare, and all that stuff. And with that being said, I'm able to really connect that back to my classroom materials. And a lot of my classroom assignments are based off either my undergrad internship or my graduate internship, or even workplace as well. So I feel like it's all interconnected, and it's very helpful when like learning from others and like about in general, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Ming, I see you shaking your head. So did you want to add, or you?
Yeah, I can share a little bit about my experiences in terms of my placement or practicum. So I am interning with the Office of Professional Excellence at Columbia School of Social Work, and the main program they offer are like continuing education programs for licensed social workers, licensed mental health counselors, and psychologists. So I thought it's really cool opportunity for me to connect with the organization that offer different CE contents, and also kind of prepares me to think about like what should I do after I graduate? Should I get an LMSW or LCSW, or thinking about other opportunities that social worker can do that do not require a licensure?
Great, thank you guys. I appreciate it. What is something that surprised you, or that you didn't expect from graduate school or from your current employment? Is there anything that is new to you, or like I asked, like surprising?
For me personally, I would say, like how we discussed earlier, the group work, that was definitely new. Um, because I feel like it's sometimes difficult to work with different schedules and with different people, but that's how, you get to learn, and that's how the workforce really is and how the world should be in general, I feel like. But I would also say one thing that surprised me about my school would be the amount of financial assistance that is available out there for low income students like myself. I was able to apply and be awarded with about 5 scholarships in undergrad and also in graduate. So you just really have to do your research, ask around, and you might just get that money.
I
And
love that. I love that you said that and you shared that. So thank you, because it is doing research. And I think that's really, really important that it, the more you do, you can get that. The help is out there. So really thank you for sharing that, because I think people looking from the theme of what you guys have all said, financial aspects are a huge, like, decision, right? It's a huge decision, and it helps in making that choice in your school. So I really do appreciate you sharing that for the audience and everybody on today. So thank you. Anybody else want to share what surprised them?
I
That's you.
want to share in terms of employment, something that surprised me. I didn't know it could take so long for you to hear back from employers when you start applying for jobs. I was literally checking my emails like every day. I'm like, you guys still have the position up. Like, why am I not hearing back from employers? So it's very challenging depending on where you want to work, especially if you're considering hospitals that take a while to get back to you. And if you want a job, start applying early, like way before you graduate. Start putting in applications so that by the time you graduate, you have like something lined up. That was very surprising to me. I didn't know it could take so long.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I just went over this with a couple of friends of mine that are looking for social work jobs, and their onboarding, and just working in the field myself, the onboarding process is so long, and it's discouraging. You also feel like, during that process of waiting, you lose your confidence also, right? And you feel like, I want to get in because I don't want to lose my skills. But what I've always said is, it's innate in you. You're not going to lose your skills, but the whole process is really, really frustrating. So that's good to put out there and for everybody to know, because I think it's across the board, right? Especially nowadays, for some reason, the onboarding process to get hired is so long. And I feel like a lot of good people get missed out on opportunities because of the wait, and it's unfortunate. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Ming or Lindsay, do you guys want to share anything surprising that you guys have come across, whether in the field or at school?
I would say what Fatimata said, same thing. The position I'm in now took me probably like solid 2 or 3 months. And now thinking back, and I'm still in training, so which is so great to have as much training as I do. But I don't know if anyone else had the experience of multiple interviews over the phone, Zoom, in person. Getting those even scheduled takes a very long time. So I do wish if I could go back a little bit, I would go to before I graduated my bachelor's, like that month, and start applying then. Because I did go through a three-week period without income, because my old job, you can only keep someone for so long. And then the new one just hadn't been starting yet. So it's definitely, I think, a universal experience for social work right now.
Yeah, thank you. Ming, did you want to add anything? Okay, that's okay. Thank you. So, knowing what you know now, right? And I think Lindsay, you touched upon this, that you wish you could go back and you would have filled that. But in addition to that, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would do differently if you could go back? I know it's. Did you want to say something?
Yes, but I'm not sure. Sorry.
It's okay.
I've had so many ups and downs since graduation. So I guess also setting your expectations, because I was a macro, I did a macro concentration, but I'm totally not doing macro work right now. So just to know that you may now work in like whatever you did for your field placement or whatever your concentration was. So be open-minded. And also, if possible, if you know 100% what you want to do when you graduate, make sure you choose a field placement that's related to that, because they may end up offering you a position, and then this way you don't have to struggle finding a job. And I guess just speaking with your advisors, doing your research, knowing what you want to do, and setting your goal and expectations based on that.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Julian, is there anything that you would do differently if you could go back?
I don't think so. I mean, I hate to like not really bring anything up, but I'm pretty happy that I was able to, continue my education, because I really wasn't sure what to do, but I just figured like, getting new knowledge and experience, because I knew I was going to have an internship as well, would just be the best of just like stepping forward.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Lindsay?
I don't know if I have too much more to add to the conversation in regards to that. I think we're constantly learning, and the best thing we could do is as we get more into this career, try our best to just, be mentors when we can and ask questions, give answers when we can. Sorry.
Yeah. No, don't be sorry. Thank you. Then you're shaking your head, so you agree?
Yeah, I was just thinking that not to answer this question specifically, but for myself, I wonder like what would happen if I take a year to just work right after I graduate from my undergrad, and how that experience will be like, because I see so many diverse range of people with like a variety of ages and backgrounds, experiences, even folks who were not coming in from social work or social services, like from other industries, pursuing MSW. And I think that's the beauty of the diversity within MSW program, that people all come here with a particular purpose and passion for social justice. And maybe something I would do differently is maybe take a year just to learn more about myself in the actual workplace.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? And you're right, it's very diverse. There are a lot of people coming from different career paths, or it's a change in career. So you do see a lot of diversity in the fact of people getting their MSW. So that's a really interesting fact that you brought up. So thank you. Before I pass it back on to Jacob and Nell, I just want to say thank you to you guys, but also one last question. So for all our listeners and everybody on, if we had this when you guys were picking your MSW programs, like what is one thing or one advice that somebody can give you that would help you, if that makes sense? I know I put you guys on the spot. I'm sorry.
I'll make a comment. I think this is wonderful, and I would say to really be an informed consumer. So there are lots of choices for you to make. Talk to different schools, different programs, and you really have to find what's a good fit for you. Work-life school balance is so important. So find which one is the right fit for you. It's not no cookie cutter answer here. So just follow your intuition, but get all the information that you can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And your name, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my name's Liz Spilka. I'm from Adelphi University.
Thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate that. So again, I'm going to pass this back to Jacob and Nell, but to our panelists, I thank you all for answering our questions and for you guys taking the time and for sharing all that you have. I found this extremely informative, and I hopefully for people on our listeners that it was helpful. I definitely thought it was helpful. So thanks again. And then here is Jacob.
Am I on? I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we can.
Hello, everybody. I believe at this time we will be transitioning into our grad school fair. We will have representatives in different breakout rooms, I believe. We're going to have 3 different 20-minute breakout room sessions. You are free to join whichever school is interested to you, that you have questions for, interested in learning more about. And yeah, you have 3 different opportunities to pick 3 different schools and learn more from.
So graduate school representatives will be sent in just a moment to your rooms automatically. Everybody else, you will need to click at the bottom of the screen. A little area that says breakout rooms will appear in just a moment. And you'll need to click into there. We will broadcast a message around every 20 minutes. We're going to sort of do 3 sessions of 20 minutes. And we'll broadcast a message each sort of 20 minutes, reminding people, all right, time to sort of move on to the next area, next school. If you do have sort of other, for more information, for more contact information, you can find all of the school's contacts and more info on each school on our Grad Fair resource page, which I just posted in the chat there. So definitely that is a great sort of resource as well. All right, so I'm going to open up all the rooms. Again, school representatives, you're going to be sent automatically there. Everybody else, you're going to be able to select this school that you'd like to go to. If you're having any issues sort of selecting that school, to learn more, you can always let us know which school you would like to join. That list of schools is up on the screen right now, so you can definitely direct message me or Jacob if you need, if you're having trouble sort of accessing the breakout rooms button. I'm going to stop the recording.